If you haven't noticed it already, life will continuously bring us challenges. In fact, it's been my experience that the bigger things that I'm up to, oftentimes the bigger the challenges that it creates. But when I'm really in it, when I'm in doubt, when I'm in frustration, when I'm in fear, I often think of the sage advice and words of my professors at University of Santa Monica, Dr. Ron and Mary Holnick, when they said, how we deal with the problem is the problem. Said another way, where are we putting our focus? Hi, everyone. Chris NATZKE here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. How we deal with the problem is the problem. You know, one of the things that I love to do is go out and speak, and I'm honored to be able to do that around the country. And many times when I have a longer period of time with audiences, I'll have them do activities within the framework of my talk to get some interaction within the group and have them pair up with someone and hear some feedback from one another. And one of the exercises that I love to do is something called the forward focus exercise. And it basically works like this. I have two people pair up, and what they are to share with each other is a challenge that they're currently experiencing in their life. Now, rather than just say, I'm having difficulties with X, what I have them do is get very animated and really just express all the frustration, emotion, fear, consternation that they're having with it. I encourage them to, channel their inner Tom Hanks or Meryl Streep. And it's pretty amazing the energy that gets ramped up in the room. In fact, I often will joke that it's sometimes better than a month's worth of therapy. But what's interesting is after they have that cathartic experience, after they're able to kind of vent all the emotion around it, then I give them 4 questions to answer. And these are my forward focus questions. And the first one is this: what's really happening here? What's really happening here without the story, without the drama? So many times in our lives, we have things that charge us emotionally. And so it's very easy for us to get into that story of the emotion and continue to play it over and over again in our minds. Hey, I've definitely done that in my life and continue to have to deal with that. But what I found is that when I'm able to first get those emotions out and express them in whatever way I can, either through talking with someone, through journaling, through going out and exercising, getting that emotion moving. Now what I can do then is take a look at what's really happening and objectively look at the challenge for what it is. So number 1 is what's really happening here. Number 2 is what's positive about this experience. Now, that might be a difficult question to answer, particularly when you're really in it. But I encourage you to think about times in your life when you've gone through challenges and now you look back at them, maybe days, weeks, maybe even years later, and realize that there was a real gift that occurred within it. Maybe that relationship that you had that broke up led to a whole journey of self-discovery, and maybe even the relationship of your dreams. Maybe the job that you lost at the time seemed so devastating, but it got you into another career or even opened up another business. Or maybe that illness that you had that was so scary at the time allowed you to really focus on your health and wellness, and now it's changed your lifestyle and that you're feeling better than ever. See, all of us have the opportunity to reframe those challenges. It may not be easy at the beginning, and again, you don't want to bypass and go right to that. You want to feel the emotion, but once you're able to get past that, now what you can do is constructive around what you're dealing with in terms of what are the positives of the situation. Number 3 is, what's a solution to this challenge? Now, that's, pretty straightforward, right? But here's the distinction I want to make. Many of us, when we're going through the worst of times, we focus on solving a problem versus creating a solution. Now, I want you to just think about that for a moment, because when we're in problem solving, we oftentimes can bring along negative thoughts around that it's something that needs to be handled, overcome, defeated. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't have tenacity and we don't have power in those situations, but when you're looking for a solution, you're probably going to see something. When you're looking for a certain color, you'll see it. If you ever had an idea where you wanted a certain car that you wanted to buy, and you've ever noticed that all of a sudden you're driving on the road, you start seeing them all over the place, your mind will gravitate to what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a solution versus solving a problem, the chances of finding the solution grow exponentially. And then finally, number 4 is what action can you take? I think that some of the time, at least for me, where I feel most disempowered and most frustrated is when I feel, I believe in the moment that I don't have any control and I don't have any actions I can take. But when I decide to take an action, albeit however small, what it does is it gets me in a flow. It gets me in creative thought. It gets me in momentum. And martial arts, as I've said many times before, is an action philosophy. So when we start getting moving, the other juices and thoughts, processes in our mind start to move as well. And what I have found is when we start moving, albeit so small, we'll start seeing our next right move, then our next right move, and then our next right move. So all in that way, we're able to overcome those challenges by just starting to take those steps. So there you have it, my friends. There is 4 questions to ask yourself when you're under challenge, and it brings you to what I call forward focus. And if you're looking for more ideas and more programs that I do, check out my website, chrisnatzke.com. There I've got, many blogs that are written. You'll see some of my products there, as well as my speaking and coaching programs. And if you'd like to have a discussion about any of those, I'd love to have it with you. So thanks so much for joining me. This has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.